Alright, I'm back. In the first part and the last part of this entry, I talked about what we did during our homestay, but I wanted to do a separate piece on how it compares to American culture because I keep telling people there are a whole lot of parallels between America and Singapore. And staying with this Singaporean family this weekend just showed me more of that. It really did. First of all, everybody here for the most part lives in a flat, an apartment flat. So our host family did also. There were some single family homes around there, but those people had a lot of money to be able to live in a single family house in Singapore. Much like in big cities in America, anyway, and big cities in the world. But what I found different here also was, well, one thing I found different was that the average family actually has maids. In America, it seems like most people who have maids are upper echelon, have a decent amount of money, have a good amount of money, and all that. But here, the average middle class family tends to have a maid, and our family had a maid. Although I do feel like our family was more upper, I'm not sure, but either way, they had a maid, which who was a part of the family. She's been with them for about 15 years, and she was nice as she could be. Um, Also, what I found unique was the driving process. Not many people, well, people drive here, but since the island is so small and about 3 million people live here, space is at a premium. So what they do is make driving here ridiculously expensive. So to drive, you have to bid like an auction on a certificate to drive. This doesn't include insurance or even the cost of the car. It's just a license to drive. And not your driver's license either, just a license to have a car in Singapore. And our host mother was telling us about how expensive they can be. She was saying she was saying that during the downturn, when people weren't buying cars, the economic downturn, people bought them for as little as $50. But now that it's rebounded, they've been upwards of $40,000 Singapore dollars, which is probably about maybe 31, 32, 33,000 US dollars if I had to guess, which is still a lot of money just to say you can have a car that does not include the price of the car, insurance, or getting your driver's license. So they make it very expensive for you to drive. And our host family actually did have a car, which I thought was unique. And it was also unique being on riding on the other side of the car and actually sitting on what would be the passenger side at home, but behind the driver. It was a very surreal feeling, but it I got used to it. Also, our host mother is actually a doctor. So she was talking about how medical school here, she went to the National University of Singapore, which is the university at which we're studying. She is a doctor, and she studied here for her medical degree. But whereas in America, you have to do undergrad, then graduate school at med school. She just went to med school for her undergrad, which sounds, oh, that's 4 years you don't have to worry about, or however many years medical school is, that's cut out. But when I think about how tough the education system is here and how built on testing it is here and how your tests decide the quality of school you go to, it really makes me see it's an even trade, in my humble opinion. But she's a doctor and she did go to medical school as her undergraduate as opposed to a graduate degree. But these are some small things that I saw that are different, but a lot is the same. Things like we're in the car and listening to Lady Gaga, Poker Face. That was the song. And I just thought that was so not weird, not unique, but it was interesting. And they could sing the song better than I can because I actually don't know that song, but they could sing the song word for word. And I am from America and I can't sing the song. We were in the pool when we first got there, we actually got in the pool. I left that out in the last piece. But we're in the pool, and they're playing Lil Jon song, the "To the Window to the Wall" song, and my mouth just dropped open at that we come all this way and hear this song. Actually, I was kind of like, oh my god, this ghetto song has made its way all the way over here. But it has, and it's interesting how music especially makes its way here. And we're talking about movies and shows and stuff like that. And they were asking us, what's the new thing to watch? What's the new movie to watch? And one of us said Avatar. And they had seen Avatar in 3D just like in America, which to me just blew my mind in the sense that we are from two opposite sides of the world physically, but we come together and we can relate to things on the same scale, although we live thousands of miles apart. And it just shows how very much Americanized Singapore, especially, but also the world, I feel like, is becoming. And what this experience taught me, between the music and even the dress, you go in the mall and you see people dressed all trendy and such, but the outfits that you see in the mall are the same outfits that you would see in America. In any mall in America, you would see these same outfits. Well, maybe not any mall, but definitely the malls in bigger cities. You would see these type of outfits. So it just shows how our ideas from America are going everywhere, especially here. And I feel like Singapore is is aspiring to be like us in America, which I think is interesting. It's interesting. I feel like it's not necessarily a good thing because I feel like everything about America is not together, and I feel like a lot of things about America are not together. But as I said, they aspire to be much like us in their culture. And as I said, there is no real Singaporean culture. I mean, what makes up Singaporean culture is a mix of everybody else, whether it be Chinese, Malay, Indian, American, Japanese, Korean. It's all mixed together to give you Singapore. And that's kind of how I feel America is to a degree, not too much to this much of an extent, but America is people coming together from different places and all living together. And as I've told many people that I feel like Singapore is Asia's version of America. I really feel like it is because you have the races kind of split up, yet they're all together. Fashions, they all speak English. People immigrate here, but the native population isn't that big, and they're kind of marginalized from what we've learned. So I just pull out a lot of things that are the same. And even seeing our family, our host family, interact with each other. We'd be in the van and just sitting there silent, the three of us from UNC. We just sit there silent and just watch them talk to each other, interact, and they just sound so average American. The brother and sister kind of, I won't say bickering, but you know how they do it kind of like on TV. And the parents talking and all of that. But they're a really loving family, and they took us in and they really welcomed us, and I just thank them, grateful and grateful to have had the experience because we kind of got an inside glimpse. And although we didn't visit all those off the beaten path places, just seeing them in their own space, for me at least, was really educational. And it's priceless, and it's something that the group from UNC, in terms of the planning group, couldn't do on their own. The things we saw, you will only see in a Singaporean house. So I'm glad I had the experience. So, with that being said, today is Monday. Wednesday, we actually leave for Malaysia, and that's going to be, I feel like, a 180 from Singapore because Malaysia, I feel like, is much more conservative, not necessarily as developed. So we shall see what happens. I'll get back to you all and tell you what's going on in Malaysia. We'll be going to Malacca, Malaysia, which I think is kind of on the west coast, kind of sort of. So we shall see what happens. As a matter of fact, I have to go buy some new clothes, more conservative clothes. So wish me luck with that, and I will talk to y'all later. Pray for me, and I'll be praying for you. Talk to y'all later. Bye.